Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Lamecca Holmes. I'm the director of the East Flatbush Community Partnership. We are grateful and honored for you all to be with us today. I'm actually really excited. We have a packed agenda today. So we're going to start off with our welcome and East Flatbush Community Partnership updates. We have some words of encouragement from Rabbi Shuchat, and then we have a presentation from Dr. Elijah Nicholas regarding transgender awareness. Anthony Parker is going to be sharing some information from the Fresh Air Fund. And then we're going to end the day with a mental health segment from Dr. T. Thaddeus Brown. And at the end, we will have time for everyone to share program updates that would like to. Okay, so again, welcome. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. And as far as our updates, just wanted to remind everyone that we still have our community aid assistance program going on. Basically, we are helping residents that are in need of paying outstanding utility bills. We're able to provide up to 2 gift cards valued at $75. And the information as to how to access the form is here. You can copy the code by scanning it here, or you can contact us via email, Cindy Reed. Her email address is reidc@jcca.org. I wanted to remind you that we have our presenter form for those of you that are interested in presenting at our monthly meetings, and we'll definitely provide the link for that in the chat as well. So far, we have 6 people that have expressed interest, and we have 10 more months. So we need some more people to reach out to us and let us know that you're interested in presenting at one of our monthly meetings. Okay, so we look forward to hearing from you regarding that. And then someone from our staff will reach out to you to actually solidify the month. Okay, so again, feel free, introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know if you are a resident or a service provider. And without further ado, Cindy, could you introduce our first speaker?
Okay, hello everyone. This is Cindy Reed here, community organizer, and we are welcome Rabbi Shuchat here today.
Hello everyone. I am very excited to be at this meeting. It's the first time that I am at a full meeting, and I think it's the first time I'm also speaking. So, as of a few days ago, when I was asked to speak, I didn't really know what I'm going to talk about. But sadly, the world has given us a reason, something to speak about. But first, let's start with the positive. I've been a resident of East Flatbush for about 2 years now, and I came from a different neighborhood in Brooklyn. And I must say that I enjoy every moment of it. It's a safe neighborhood, and I just enjoy the people, the neighbors, the quietness of the streets, everything. It's just beautiful. So I know that it's every resident has his part in doing it, and the organization also helps the people, but it's definitely a neighborhood which should be an example to other places in New York City about how to have a friendly, safe, and beautiful place to live. There is a very interesting prayer that certain people in the Jewish communities say every morning when they start their day. It's a very long prayer, but I just wanted to actually read and translate a certain paragraph of it, which I think would be beneficial for us, would be beneficial for the whole world at this point in time. Well, it starts by saying that we ask from God, the God that listens to all of our requests, that he should open up our hearts to understand and to follow what he wants us to do. Most of the prayer is about that we're asking God to listen to our prayers. But then there's a paragraph towards the end, very powerful paragraph, which was also converted into a song. But I don't have a skill in singing, so I'm not going to do that for you today. I will just, I want to read it and translate it. I think that would be, it says, one of the things we're asking God, please save us from jealousy, one person from his friend, and that our hearts we should not have any thought of being jealous of somebody else, and that they shouldn't be jealous of us. And not only that, actually, we ask God, He should give us in our hearts that each one of us should see all the beneficial aspects of each one of our friends and not their deficiencies. And that each one of us should be able to talk to and to encourage our peers to follow in the straight path and in the path that God wants us to. And this should not cause any hate, not from us and others, and not from others to us. That is the close to the end of the paragraph. After we ask God to listen to our prayers, we don't just ask God that He should listen to us for what we do, but we actually ask God to help us to be proper citizens, proper people, that we shouldn't have any negative traits. But not only that, it's not about the negative, it's about He should give us the power that we should be able to see the benefit, to see the good in every other person, and to be able to be loved, to love and love every other person, to be able to talk to every person in the right way, and the main thing, to be able to see what benefit and what's the good in every person, not to see the bad, but to be able to see the good. That is how I think this is a very powerful part of a prayer that I think that each one of us would resonate with each one of us, especially when we're looking at what's going on in the world around us, that is what's going on today, that there's so much war and problems going in different places, and people seem to think that the solution is by fighting, when the truth is that if each person would just focus not on seeing what the other person has and not on seeing what he's missing, but more on seeing how he could learn from somebody else and how he could teach somebody else, and how beneficial it is to have somebody that has something that we could learn from, we would be much better off. And I really see that when it comes to dealing with this community and with the organization, the organization that is hosting this, the community organization, they have taken this literally, quite literally. They help every person. They see how each person could help other people. They don't just sit over there and say, whoever needs help, come to us. They encourage people of all sorts. I would like to thank the people that I dealt with on a regular basis, which is Cindy and Lamaka. Those are the ones that I spoke to mostly in different community aspects. And I've seen that it's not only about helping, because helping, sometimes help is not only about giving somebody something, it's about encouraging somebody to do something for the next person. It's a chain reaction. It's a very positive chain reaction that this community has, this organization has. They bring people from all sorts of organizations, and they tap into each person's potential and each person's power and each person's organization, and they tell them, you do this is what you're good at, try to help the community with it also. Don't just do it for yourself, don't just do it within your own small community, but expand your horizons. Try to help as many people as possible. Be the best that you can do with your talents. And when we have all these people together over here that we have from different organizations and different communities, different religions, and everybody has one goal. The goal is to be able to help somebody else, to be able to encourage somebody else, and to be able to see how each person could bring benefit and could bring good to everybody around them. So I really want to wish the organization much success. They've been doing a lot of good things. They have a lot of good things up their sleeve. I follow their emails. I see every email is something new that comes up. They never sit with the same, with just saying, oh, we have 20 programs, let's stop there. They're always looking, let's see, we have 20, let's get 22. We have 30, let's get 35 programs. We never stop at what we have. We always go further and further, and I really appreciate it. I really think that we all have what to learn from the organizers of this, from the directors of this organization. And I wish them much success and much luck in everything that they do, and they should have the strength and the means to be able to continue helping everyone up until the point where people don't need our help anymore. That's the best we can do. The best is to get people to the point where they don't need our help anymore. And again, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. And I guess I will pass the mic back to Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. We appreciate you today. Lameka, you can take over.
You're muted, Lameka. Thank you. I was saying I have to figure out how to stop spotlighting. I'll figure that out in a moment. Okay, thank you so much, Rabbi. We appreciate you for your words of encouragement. Okay, I'm excited to introduce our next speaker. We have Dr. Elijah Nicholas, who's going to be sharing about transgender awareness, and the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Dr. Elijah Nicholas. My pronouns are he, him. You'll see that my name there says Dr. Elijah Meredith. Meredith is my legal last name, and I go by Dr. Elijah Nicholas. Nicholas is my middle name. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much to everyone for having me. Thank you, Dr. Rainier, for inviting me to speak today. And if I got it right, EFCS and ACS. I think hopefully I got it right. Fingers crossed. Again, I'm Dr. Elijah Nicholas. My pronouns are he, him. I'm gonna just talk a little bit about myself, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about trans awareness, and then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my book, and then I'm gonna open it up for a conversation. Hopefully we can have a conversation around this most sensitive, important, and relevant topic today. Right. So I'm Dr. Elijah Nicholas. As I said, I'm born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I served 25 years, to be exact, 24 years, 10 months, and 8 days in the U.S. military. I joined when I was 17. My mother had to sign the papers for me to actually be able to go off to basic training. I am an author, an advocate, and what's the third one? Author, advocate. Oh, and I'm an actor. So my mission in this world is to illuminate light around the world. My vision in this world is to have a world where we exist with love and not labels. And the way that I do the work that I do through the help of God, the way that I do this as far as illuminating a light is through my advocacy work, through my acting, and also as an author. I am here today as an advocate. I affectionately call myself an ex-pastor. I'm a licensed and ordained minister. I pastored many years ago for a few years, and then I went from this religious journey to a more spiritual path. So I have an appreciation for spiritual freedom, if you will. And I'll talk a little bit more about my advocacy work here in a second. I'm also an author, and I'll show you my book at the end of this presentation. I'm now a 12-time published author. I recently found a niche in children's books that I absolutely love. It was never, ever, ever, ever my intent to write children's books, but that is my passion, one of my many passions now. And so I've also written motivational books and books on manifesting. And if you look my name up on Google or Amazon, you can find all of my works out there. And I'm happy to share my former name because many of my works are written and published under my former name. I'm also an actor. You can find me on current shows such as The Resident, Dynasty, Hawkeye, a few Marvel shows, and a few other things that I've been blessed to be a part of. And the reason that I share all of those things with you, because for me, this is trans awareness. I don't lead with my trans identity. If you notice, when I introduce myself, I did not introduce myself as, hi, I'm Dr. Elijah and I'm a Black trans man. That is not what I lead with. I lead with love, and then I allow my transness to speak for itself. So I also wanted to mention that you can also find me in Forbes magazine, and there's an upcoming article that I just had an interview with for Black Mental Health magazine. And I shared that as well because that is also trans awareness and trans visibility. And in this one particular magazine, I'm talking about meditation and the importance of meditation on the mental health of transgender youth specifically. I also did a stint at Harvard Divinity last summer, and I'm very proud of that. I got my doctorate in 2007 in business administration. I have a total of 5 degrees, five higher education degrees. And you may be saying, why am I spitting out my bio like this? Normally, I don't do that, but I'm doing that because that is a part of transgender awareness. When for some people that I meet, I am the first and only trans person that they have ever come in contact with. So one of my goals through my advocacy work is to normalize the trans experience. Like Rabbi said when he was giving his words of encouragement, thank you so much. You talked about how one day we want to help people so much to the point where they no longer need our help. And that is my goal, is to talk, to educate, to enlighten, and to inspire so much to the point where they will say, Dr. Elijah, we don't need you to talk about trans awareness anymore. Let's talk about love and light. And so that is the reason that I share my extensive bio with you all, because doing things like this is important. Because as a young person who lived my life at that time as a closeted lesbian, I didn't see people like me. I didn't see, and quite frankly, on television, now I still don't see Black trans men. So it's important to me every time I get the opportunity to talk more about the label of being transgender. When we talk about trans awareness, there's just a couple of things that I want to talk about. And then again, I want to open up the floor so that you can ask me questions, because I could talk all day, but it may be things that you don't necessarily want to hear or need to hear. So I want to know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, what is on your hearts and on your minds. And I will say that I am the best person to talk to because I am the most transparent and most authentic person that you possibly will ever meet. And no question is off limits for me. And I do mean that from the depths of my heart. And so when we talk about our transgender youth, one of the things that I want to emphasize is the importance of safety. Right? Safety, safety, safety. It is so important because not often or oftentimes trans individuals, trans children specifically, they may not have come out to their parents, or you may come in contact with them when they're actually coming out to their parents. I'm not sure where your point of contact is, but safety is always, always, always important. And so I want to encourage you to have resources in place, specific resources for youth individuals, so that if you get a child who may be in harm's way, just like other children, that you have the resources to put them in the right funnel, to put them with the right organization. And I emphasize that because although they may have similar challenges as other youth as it relates to safety, there are topics and sensitive issues that are specific to trans children as far as their gender or sexual identity, where we are not always able to be put in the same room or the same pool or the same category as other individuals. So safety is number one, right? And then number two, I want to talk about something that's really popular now. I think the White House started using pronouns, right? Pronouns. Why on earth is it important to use and talk about pronouns? As I introduce myself, my pronouns are he, him. And for me, I'm a very binary person, meaning that I operate on the male spectrum, right, on the masculine spectrum. And please forgive me if I'm breaking this down too simple, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands at a foundational level. So I identify in a very binary way. There are trans individuals who do not identify in a binary way, meaning they don't identify as male or female. They identify as what's called non-gender conforming or non-binary. They would introduce themselves as they, them, or they might introduce themselves as they, she, or they, her, or they, him. And so the reason that I want to bring that up is because I think it's very important to have an environment, a space where an individual is comfortable being asked what their pronouns are. You would be amazed at children today. When you ask them what their pronouns are, they get like all excited and they're like, oh, my pronouns are they, them, or they, her, or they, him. And oh, I'm figuring it out and I don't know. But it is an opportunity to kind of break down the barriers that might be present and just, get into their heads and see how it is they identify. The other reason that pronouns are important is because so when you look at me, I am very masculine presenting. I am very binary, as I mentioned. But you could look at me and I might be a masculine presenting, but my pronouns could also be feminine pronouns or gender neutral pronouns. Those occurrences may come for a few reasons. One, because a child may be early in their transition, their physical transition, or two, they may have decided not to transition, so they may appear as one gender, but they identify as another gender. So it's always, always, always important to ask about pronouns. If you're uncomfortable or not sure how to ask about pronouns, a good way to say it is, hey, my name is Dr. Elijah, my pronouns are. What are your pronouns, right? And so then the third thing that I want to talk about is mental health. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of mental health as it relates to transgender awareness. When I started my transition back in 2018, I'm what some would call a late bloomer, if you will. I transitioned later in life for many reasons. As I mentioned, I served in the military for almost 25 years. Some people transition a lot sooner. And so I want to just make sure that we are cognizant that there are, there's different spaces along the line where people transition. And so we talked about safety, we talked about pronouns, and we talked about mental health. As I mentioned, I talked to someone from Black Mental Health magazine a couple of days ago, and they were asking me, why is it important for transgender individuals, transgender youth specifically, to participate in meditation? I'm a meditation advocate. As I said, I'm an ex-pastor. So honestly, I grew up with a lot of the societal norms and societal beliefs that meditation wasn't necessarily a good thing, or burning incense wasn't a good thing, or all the things that many of our youth are already doing and participating in today. But I personally think that meditation is beneficial for the mental health of transgender youth and transgender adults alike, because it allows us to actually go within and to really begin to have conversations with ourselves. And it really allows us to learn the value of self-love, to learn the value of seeing our light, to learn the value of owning our light and owning who we are. And many trans youth, they are not able to overtly express that. And so meditation is a way and a space for our trans youth to actually do that. And I'm a meditation advocate, and I just, I believe it and I support it wholeheartedly. So I bring mental health up because I want to encourage you to have resources in place that support specifically trans youth. I know there are organizations who have like yoga and meditation that are environments that are trans and non-binary friendly, or now what we call TGX, transgender expansive. And that's because, let me tell you, our youth of today, they have a lot of ways that they identify. And so the X falls, the X is like an umbrella, if you will, for all the trans and non-binary individuals. So one of the ways that I do my advocacy work, one of the things that I do, I'm a children's book author. I've written a book called Madoodle, and this is a children's book about an African-American girl. She's 10 years old, and she is actually navigating the journey of her Uncle Pete, who used to be her favorite Auntie Mary. And I did this for a few reasons. One, because when I transit, so let me back up. One of the reasons that I didn't transition before I did is because I did not want to lose my family. I'm a family guy, and my mother is my best friend. I love all of my nieces, my nephews, and my baby cousins, right? And so when I finally got the courage to say, you know what, I am who I am, and I am going to transition now, right? And I have to say, it wasn't overnight. It was years of pain, years of depression, years of alcoholism, years of bad failed relationships. And I got to the point where it was either transition or die. And I chose to transition. I chose God, and I chose myself. And when I chose myself, I realized, or I thought, there was a possibility that I would lose my mom and my siblings and my nieces and nephews. And so I did what most people do. I went on the internet and I looked up ways to have conversations with children and specifically about transitioning. And there was nothing. There was some very nice LGBTQIA plus friendly books, but there were only a few trans books, and there were no books with people who looked like me on the cover. And so God told me at about 2 o'clock in the morning, which is usually when God talks to me, to create the resource, to fill the gap. And then 2 years later, Madoodle was born. And so I wanted to make sure that I represented the African American face and the experiences that we have as it relates to the transition process when we're identified as non-binary and transgender. The book is very diverse. I have a special needs character who is in a wheelchair in the book. I have Black African-American people in the book. I have an Asian person in the book. I have a Hispanic person. I have a white person. So while it is an African-American story, it is a universal story of love, and it represents the faces, if you will, of the world. Again, my vision is a world where we have love and not labels. Love and not labels. And when we get to that point, prayerfully, I'm still on this earth, and I can stop doing this and do some of the other things that I love to do. But I love doing this. I love what I do. That book, Madoodle, came out in 2020. The pandemic was actually very fertile for me. I published 2 books. The second book came out just in 21. And that book is called Madoodle, the New Kid. And in that book, I introduced a non-binary child to the classroom. And I did that specifically because children just want to know, like, what do you want me to call you? What do you want me to say? Are you a boy? Are you a girl? Okay, you say you're neither. Which bathroom are you going to use? Like, let's talk about it. And kids, interestingly, going back to why I wrote the book, why I wrote Madoodle, I thought that I might lose my nieces and nephews and baby cousins. They get it. Let me tell you, the kids get it. The kids are like, okay, your name is Elijah now. You're a boy now. Can we get some ice cream? Can we get some ice cream now, right? It really is that simple. And honestly, I've had more amazing conversations with adults using the children's book as a foundation. So it's been very beneficial. It's really, I consider it a family and children's book. And that's what I do, through my advocacy work. This is my ministry. I show up in acting. I show up on the screen. And I do that because that is trans awareness. That is trans visibility. And my goal is to continue to lead the way, to educate, enlighten, and inspire so that my nieces and nephews, whatever gender, whatever sex they identify as, that won't be an issue. when they get ready to go off to high school and then to college and start their life. We won't be having this conversation because we will have normalized it. And so that's a bit about me. That's a bit about what I do and 3 ways that I think, trans awareness is important. And I want to open up the floor for questions. If we can have some Q&A time, let's have at it. Whatever y'all want to ask me.
Sarah, feel free to ask your question.
Thank you very much, Lamaka, and thank you, Dr. Elijah, for giving us your time today. I just want to ask a question regarding the law. I don't know if it's a law yet, but there's been a lot of stuff on social media, in the media, about the LGBTQ law that's affecting youth in Florida and how, is it Texas? I'm sorry, where, teachers and ACS workers are being required to contact parents about a student's transness, essentially. And whilst I know it's not in New York State, a lot of people I care about and work with, students included, are of the trans experience. And I have the privilege of not being afraid of that as a cisgender person, whereas people that I care about don't. So when you address safety and mental health, how can I, as an ally, a supportive adult, and a friend, help them figure that out? Because that's really scary.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. That's a wonderful question. And thank you for being an ally. I am aware of what's going on in Texas as well as around the world. Last year was one of the highest number as it relates to policies, trans, I forget what the word is, but policies that are against, transgender individuals living freely, if you will. That's how I'll say it. I have my own political views, but I won't express those political views. What I will do is answer your question, Sarah, and say that doing what you do as an ally is the number one thing that you can do. Providing a safe space for individuals to talk and simply process is important. The other thing that you can do is have resources available, resources like PFLAG and GLAD and other trans support resources. And then, there are many communities within communities that provide safe spaces specifically for trans youth. I don't know if you all are aware, but transgender youth the homeless rate is higher than the normal average of the United States, the rest of the general population. The LGBTQI plus homeless rate is higher than the normal average. And within another, as a subcategory within the LGBTQIA plus community, the trans individuals, trans and non-binary individuals have the highest homeless rate. And along those lines, we have the highest suicide rate for adults, suicide ideation, suicide attempts, the highest rate as trans individuals. So it is important, Sarah, to do just what you're doing, to be an ally, to provide safe spaces. And then I cannot emphasize it enough how important it is to vote. We have to vote, and we have to get individuals in, and I won't go into my political views. What I'll say is we have to get individuals in the local government to support trans-friendly legislation. I hope that answers your question, Sarah. If not, just ask me again and I'll try to answer it again.
That was wonderful. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Elijah. Does anyone else have any questions? You can feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. I do have a question. Could you clarify a little bit more about the 2 resources mentioned? Got the name ready. Mentioned 2 in response to the first question. If you can elaborate more on what they do.
Can you repeat that? It was kind of going in and out on my end, please.
Sure. Could you elaborate more on the 2 resources you mentioned?
Yes, PFLAG, Parents of Lesbian and Gay individuals is what it's called. PFLAG is a national, I believe, international organization, and they have support groups. They have all kinds of fundraisers. It's an amazing support organization specifically for trans individuals or LGBTQIA plus individuals. Although the name says lesbian and gay, they have expanded to trans individual, asexual, pansexual, and the entire community. They have support group meetings. Now they're virtual. A lot of these meetings can be attended. Youth can attend. They have to have an adult with them. So it may be, a situation where you have to make sure that you work out, the legalities that are necessary when you're taking a child to a support group, right? And then GLAAD, please, I think it's gay, lesbian, AAD, but it's GLAAD. I don't know what the entire acronym is, but that's also another amazing organization that pushes the bar on legislation and makes sure that we have individuals who are in place that support us. And then we also have Lambda Legal. And Lambda Legal is an organization, so it's just that, a legal organization that has led the way for many of the trans legislations and LGBTQIA plus legislations that we have in place on a national level. So if you have someone, for example, if we think about the bathroom law in Florida, where Andrew was, he was in high school at the time. Now he's in college, but he was going through high school and he was transitioning from female to male. And his desire was to use the male restroom. Well, as you can imagine, if you haven't heard, that caused a big uproar. And, it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and now everything is in place. Thank you for putting those links in there, Dr. Raniere. So Lambda Legal is a legal resource. And then also HRC, Human Rights Campaign. I'm sure that many of you all are familiar with HRC. It's an amazing organization, and they are a national organization, and they do a lot of events and support activities specifically for LGBTQIA plus communities. And so they have resources within each one of these resources that if you can't find something locally, Google HRC, Google GLAAD, Google PFLAG, Google Lambda Legal, and I can guarantee you that you will find a resource in your area. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
Does anyone else have a question? Anthony, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you so very much, Elijah, Dr. Elijah, I should say, and I say that again, with great pride, I say it.
Thank you.
Your presentation is extraordinarily powerful. You touch my heart, you touch my spirit, and I appreciate you and the work that you do. I have a question with that said, what is the state of affairs with regard to trans people and the African-American community? And I also would follow that question with what is the relationship, how responsive and or supportive has the church been to the trans movement, and how has that grown over, I have so many questions, over a number of years, but any one of those answers will be fine.
I was just going to say, how much time do you have? Thank you so much. Those are amazing questions. And I will start with the relationship in the African-American community. And the questions kind of go hand in hand, because it's kind of hard to say African-American community without mentioning church, right? At least in my household it was. There's a very tense relation. There is no relationship. Let me just call it what it is. I will go back to, I should say there is no relationship. We're in the infinitesimal stages of a relationship. That may sound better. Let me say there's a lot of area that we can improve in, right? When we think back to the George Floyd murders, remember we were protesting and there was so much going on in the world. And I went to a protest. I didn't go to any protests until several days in for a lot of reasons. But I went to this protest here in Atlanta specifically, and I wore my "This is what trans looks like" t-shirt. And I did that in solidarity for our community, right? Because many people will see me and I'm able to what's called pass. I'm able to live stealth. People wouldn't know unless I told them that I'm a trans man. So I simply went to the march and I had on, this is what trans looks like. And, you know, there were some looks, there were some conversations, but all in all, my mission was accomplished because I wanted to go and be visible and also show unison and support for our African American community. There are many, many, many opportunities for conversations. I think that we have to start at the leadership level. And when I say leadership level, I mean leadership level of places like the NAACP, places that are predominantly African American. And whenever, as I'm sure you all know, whenever a leadership supports something, that's when it trickles down to the community. Whenever a leadership supports something, that's when it trickles down to the community. It hurts my heart that last year was the highest number on record of deaths for Black and brown, transgender, and gender non-conforming, specifically transgender women. We have not heard enough about this. We have not heard enough about this from the African American community, nor have we heard enough about this from the church, specifically from the Black church. I wrote a piece when the issues with Jussie Smollett came out a couple of years ago. And again, I won't go into my political views, but my question to the entertainment community and to the church is, if this individual were not a celebrity, would we have gotten the same response? Because just days before that incident happened, a Black trans woman was murdered and it got no media presence. So we have a lot of work to do. And that is one of the reasons that I am visible. That is one of the reasons why I am, I go on 3 or 4 hours of sleep every night. I am glad that Sarah mentioned her cis privilege. I have privilege. I do. I have the privilege of having this conversation. There are trans and non-binary individuals who may never have the opportunity to tell you what they need. So I realize that I am a vehicle and a voice. And also, as I said, I affectionately call myself an ex-pastor. I also have the opportunity to talk to faith leaders and to talk to the faith community, because, when we really get down to it, we all just want to be loved. Right? We all want to be loved and we all want to show love. If there's any variation from that love, then it's fear. And if it's fear, it's because of societal norms or because of ignorance, because we are not knowledgeable about something. So as a community, we have to do just what the rabbi said. We have to come together. We have to remove the barriers, and we have to have the hard conversations and make the hard decisions, because our children need us. And if we do not have these hard conversations, we're going to continue to see the unfortunate murder rate go up for Black and brown transgender individuals. And we're going to continue to see LGBTQIA plus individuals leave the faith community, not just the Black church, but the faith communities where they used to feel safe and now they no longer feel safe. So we've got a lot of work to do. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any more questions?
I have one. Dr. Elijah, can you share any platforms such as news outlets or podcasts that people can go to just to become more informed? You talk about having that knowledge, right? And a lot of situations come about because of the lack of knowledge that people have and the ignorance they may have on the topic. So if there's any outlets that we could go to just to learn more and get more information.
Absolutely. So there is one podcast that I have to mention, and Dr. Rainier's podcast, I believe it's called the Pink Love Podcast. Dr. Renier is doing some amazing work. And, I have to toot her horn about the work that she's doing on the LGBTQIA plus and the faith community and the religious trauma that many of us have experienced. So I hope it's okay, Dr. Renier, for me to send them to your IG page. She's probably going to get me later for doing that. But also, I was just recently on a podcast called Unbinding the Binary. And let me tell you, these, and I think I can say young folks because I'm over 50. These young folks are doing some absolutely amazing work. The podcast is called Unbinding the Binary. And they are on all the streaming platforms. They're specifically on IG. And please, when you follow them, let them know that Dr. Elijah sent you their way. And I promise you, they will direct you in many ways, as many ways as they can. There are some amazing individuals. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to follow me on Instagram. I do many motivational talks and empowerment. I do a 60 seconds of encouragement. It's not trans focused, it is love focused. And I just happen to be a trans guy who is delivering the message for me, the message of my higher power to everyone. Remember, it's love, not labels for me. And my website is ElijahNicholas.com.
Thank you. Are there any more
You're welcome.
questions?
Thank you, Dr. Renier, for putting my contact information in there. You're so awesome.
Yeah, she's been doing a great job. Any other questions for Dr. Elijah?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, and I want to thank Dr. Elijah. You have been very helpful to answer those lingering questions in regards to terms and that have been in the back of my head, but I've been a little timid to ask. Sure. So thank you for your transparency and for doing that. I appreciate it so much. And I feel, better. Thanks, Doctor.
Good. Thank you so much for saying that. You are so welcome. I would tell you, when I first started my transition, one of the most difficult things for my mother was the pronouns, right? And one day she told me, she said, well, you got to give me some grace. I called you, Tasha is my former name, and I have no problem sharing that. Tasha Meredith was my former name, if you want to look up my other books pre-transition. But she said, I called you Tasha, and I said she and her for 48 years, 49 years, like, you got to give me some grace. And, that was when the light bulb went off for me, so please know that you are not alone. That is an amazing statement that you made, and know that it is okay. And I have to say, this is my individual trans experience. And like I said at the beginning, I am the best person to talk to because I am transparent and I am authentic and I'm joyful and I lead with love. So I have no problem sharing my pronouns and talking about it. But I will say that can be a trigger for some individuals in the trans community. Many people don't want you to know their former name. They don't want you to know their former gender. When they transition, the past is called dead naming if you call them their own name. And the past is literally that. So it's important to know that every trans and non-binary person's experience is different. And so if you may come across someone who is completely opposite of me, especially a child, and they may be closed up and they may be figuring it out. And that's when those resources come in. That's when, the mental health therapy is very, very important. And we didn't talk about, the history of mental health and the perception in the Black community. I did 8 months of mental health therapy specific to my gender transition. That's not everybody's story. That's not everybody's journey. That's not everybody's choice. If I were president of the United States and I had my druthers, everybody would go to therapy. Trans, hetero, cis, everybody. But I'm not president, so I can only just, put it out in the ethers and hope it happens one day.
Thank
I'll
you.
say that.
Yes, Taisha?
You're
Taisha,
muted,
you're muted.
Taisha.
I am so sorry. I apologize for that.
That's
I'm
okay.
gonna go through this spiel one more time.
You were just
Nice to
talking
meet
away,
you.
huh? Talking,
I
talking,
was
talking.
having a whole conversation. Nice to meet you, Dr. Elijah. Um,
Likewise.
my question is what's the best way? Because I come from a background of ACS, and I've come in contact with families who are having a hard time processing um, the sexual identity, or their children identifying or want to transition. What's the best way for a worker who's um, um, cis hetero, to address those areas where you're dealing with child protection? You have to be sensitive and aware of a situation, but how can we address it and kind of make sure the child is safe when we leave the home? I'm
Mhm.
not in the field anymore, but I think that's information that's pertinent to someone like my coworkers who may go in the field and have encountered. We not to say we haven't, because we have. I know I definitely have. So, what's the key things we should be looking for, and key words that we should be using when having these conversations with families?
Yeah, absolutely, Taisha. That's a great question. And I want to address a couple of things. So we talked about, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned sexual identity and gender identity. And I want to just differentiate between the two, just in case people don't know. Your sexual identity is who you love, or as an adult, who you sleep with. Your gender identity is who you present as. So I want to just put that out there in case people didn't understand that. And you actually answered your question at the end when you talked about safety. It's always so important to make sure that the child is safe, right? When you're going into, and this is, I want to say that I'm not a certified social worker or psychologist or psychiatrist, right? So this is my answer. This is where my answer is coming from, my personal experience. I think that it's important to just have a very loose conversation with the child. Like, hey, how you doing? How you been? It's all good? How you like living here? What you like? You like the neighborhood? You got any friends? That kind of conversation. And I think you will be able to tell by, as with a non-trans or non-binary, non-binary child. It's those same keywords, those same things that you look for as far as the non-verbals. Now we know that we're limited in what we can do, right? Because of local laws, because you can't just go in when you know a child is unsafe or think a child is unsafe. You can't just go in. So, you have to obviously follow whatever your local laws are and your protocol that your organization has in place. But when it comes to going into the home, just like I think it's important to have a conversation with the child, it's also important to have a conversation with the family. Just see if you can, get a feel for not necessarily what they think about the child, but where their thinking is coming from. Not necessarily what they think about the child's gender identity or sexual identity, but where that thinking is coming from, because I don't know that we can solve the problem properly or even begin to address the problem unless we know where it's coming from. For example, there may be a family where a child comes out as gay or as transgender. I come from a single family home. My mother was married 3 times, and I know how important it was for my mother to provide for my brother and I, right? So we have to be cognizant of, if we're going into a family's home and asking the mother about this trans daughter or trans son, if there is someone else in the home, right? Because there's layers to these things, right? But the moment that you get what you need and you know that this child is in danger, that is when the clock ticks for getting this child out of the home, period. Because you don't want anything fatal to happen. I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Do we have any more questions?
Let me say, I know people may have questions that they don't want to ask. Please feel free to email me directly. My email is drelijahnicholas@gmail.com, drelijahnicholas@gmail.com. And my assistant checks that email as well. If you want to schedule an appointment with me, feel free to reach out. My assistant's name is Jazz, and their pronouns are they, them. And you can email Jazz, and Jazz will make sure that we get some time together, because sometimes one-on-one conversations are better, in settings like this. So I definitely get that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you shared. I'm going to put one more call out. Does anyone else have any questions for Dr. Elijah? Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your transparency, your authenticity. Those are two of my favorite words. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is it Lameka?
Lameka?
Lameka. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lameka. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me. All right. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to have our next presenter. Just give me one moment, everyone, so I can share my screen. I think the presentation closed. Okay. So we have our next presenter, Anthony Parker from the Fresh Air Fund. Anthony, you may take the full time for your presentation, okay?
Okay, I'll be right there. Sorry.
Okay, do you need to share screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay, feel free. I'm gonna stop sharing so you can do that.
Okay, I'm just doing too many things at once. Is my
That's
mic on?
okay.
Yes, my mic
We
is
have
available.
time.
Okay. I am so grateful for the presentation Dr. Elijah did that my mind is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It was absolutely inspiring and insightful. And I hope to provide information that you find exciting and inspiring for your children. I represent the Fresh Air Fund. Again, my name is Anthony Parker. I am going to share my screen so that I can do a presentation for you all and share a brief video with you as well. The presentation itself should take no more than, say, 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'll take questions afterwards. Oops, sorry. Okay, can everyone see my screen? The Fresh Air Fund, welcome. Hello?
Yes, yes.
Is my
Yes.
screen visible?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. All right, I shall start now. As I said, thank you for this opportunity, Lameka and Cindy. I appreciate, I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties today and I don't know why that is. Okay. What I'm going to cover today, I'm going to talk about the Fresh Air Fund. For those who may not know us, the Fresh Air Fund is an organization that has provided free, safe, fun summer experiences, sleepaway experiences for New York City children for over 140 years. All of our programming is free, provided that the family or the child meets our income, or the family meets our income guidelines. What I'm going to do in today's brief presentation is share with you the Fresh Air Fund story, share a video with you, talk about the eligibility requirements, and talk specifically about our summer 2022 programs and how to apply in our family portal, how that will work. And then I'll give you important information and then I'll take questions. Most importantly, though, I want to share with you that our application launches on Monday, February 28th. That's why I'm speaking with you today, Friday, so that you are getting a heads up and early alert Another disclaimer I'd like to add is that this year we will be offering fewer slots than we have in past years. What that means is that it will be more competitive to get in. I'm giving you this inside scoop where you'll visit our website. I put in the chat, our website is www.freshair.org. I'll share it again throughout this presentation, but go directly to the website on Monday to sign your child up for the program, which is of interest to you. The Fresh Air Fund, as I've mentioned, has been in existence for over 145 years, actually. It was founded in 1877 during a time very much like what we're experiencing now, a respiratory disease. Tuberculosis was the rage in the late 1800s, and the Fresh Air Fund was present then. The Fresh Air Fund, in fact, took its name, Fresh Air, from that experience, and that it was believed that fresh air was a cure for tuberculosis. Well, here we are in 2022, we're dealing with another respiratory disease, COVID-19. The Fresh Air Fund again has responded, and we've been active and open in providing programming throughout the pandemic as we continue, and we'll do this summer. I mentioned we'll have fewer opportunities because we are restoring our programs back to overnight programming, but we're doing it cautiously and safely with concern or with regard to safety protocols to minimize any transmission of COVID-19. We've served during that time over 1.8 million children. Our programs remained free, safe, and fun, and enriching summer experiences for New York City children who live and go to school in the 5 boroughs. Despite COVID, as I said, we've continued to keep the magic of summer alive by providing programming, both virtual and in person, which we did over the past 2 years. This summer, I mention again, we are for the first time reinstating some of our overnight programs. I will share with you a brief video that I hope you enjoy as much as we did preparing it for you.
That has been a big, wow, I love it.
The Fresh Air Fund is an amazing organization that gives kids the opportunity to come together in a safe and warm and welcoming space to have fun and grow and learn.
They allow us to do more eventful and exciting activities that you don't do normally in the city.
This visit is my second family wellness.
I received an email inviting us for an overnight this year.
It's just nature and family.
They're loving getting outside. They're loving connecting as a family. They are loving just the opportunity to see where their kids actually go to camp and just experience during the summer.
Just finished archery before lunch. I hit a couple bullseyes as well. It's always good when you have family around.
It's exciting for me. And now I know why my children want to go every year.
Summer Spaces is like an outdoor summer camp.
Just a way for kids to get out and have some fun. And they do a little bit of rec, a little bit of arts and crafts, and then we also have music as well. They love taking home the stuff that they get to make, and I know the parents really enjoy it too, that their kids get to break away from a screen and they get to be outside in the fresh air.
We just always want to make sure that the kids of New York City have somewhere where they can go to feel safe.
I'm just proud that we're able to really kick off the summer and we're able to accept everyone as long as you go to school in New York City and you live in New York City. This is a free program.
This is Governor's Island.
For the most part, we've been doing hands-on learning about architecture.
We create things, working on this mini island so that everyone could see it, and it's just a scaled version. And I love it so much because everyone's interpretation of the island is so different.
We were also assisting other architects for their project called a Constellation Project. We welded with them. We also sawed wood to make pedestals.
I find everybody very kind and fun. And I like the activities. They're always something that I can put my all into.
The counselors and the instructors are so easy to follow along with.
I guess I learned that I can be afraid at first, but once I get used to something, I get more comfortable doing it and I want to do it more.
Camp, Summer Spaces, all these different programs provide children an opportunity to engage with each other that they're not getting anywhere else. What really shined for me in the past 2 years was the way the organization pivoted to support the kids that we serve in the midst of the pandemic. That has been a big, wow, I love this organization moment for me.
Summer can last a lifetime. We're making core memories with them.
I already had some of them tell me they want to work here, and I'm like, of course you want to work here. I used to go here too. I was where you were. So hopefully I have the same impact, and then we could just keep it going, and Fresh Air Fun will be here forever.
I hope that you enjoyed that video as much as we did preparing it for you. Now I will speak about specific programs that we will offer this summer for summer 2022. But before I do that, I'll talk about the eligibility criterion for the Fresh Air Fund programs. The child must live and go to school in one of the 5 boroughs, must be between the ages of 5 and 17 years of age. All participants and staff are required to be fully vaccinated. Camp applicants must meet income eligibility criteria, and medical form and immunization records required for certain programs. The 5 programs that we will offer this summer are as listed here: Friendly Towns, Summer Camps, Summer Teen Academy, Summer Spaces, and Family Wellness. Friendly Towns and Summer Camps are our traditional and legacy programs. Those are sleepaway experiences, overnight experiences where the children will spend time sleeping away from home. We are proudly restoring those programs this summer. For the past 2 years, we've not had these programs, but this year we will, and we're excited about that. We're doing it cautiously, though, as I mentioned, with safety as the primary driving factor. We want to ensure that everyone is safe. Friendly Towns is our in-person program where children spend time with a volunteer host family from one of 14 states. In reinstating our Friendly Towns program, it's for returning children only. So it doesn't apply, well, it may apply to some of your children. Actually, your children may have already be a part of the Fresh Air Fund. If your child has participated in the Friendly Towns program, they may participate this year, this summer. So it's for returning to previously matched host. For those host families that have invited our children in previous years, if they are participating this summer, then the child may go back to that home. It's open for returning youth age 12 to 18. So children under age 12 will not be participating in Friendly Town this summer. Again, we're building back safely. So again, it's open for returning youth ages 12 to 18 who have previously visited a host family through the Fresh Air Fund and will be able to visit that same host family this summer. The program will also be limited in geographic areas. We have thought through very thoroughly in this measure, thinking of safety, and we've restricted the geographic areas. What that means is that the Friendly Towns program will generally include only families that are 3 hours away at most from New York City. So that would typically be Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, upstate New York. The program will be limited in geographic areas to respect COVID protocols. The program, children must have a medical form signed, stamped, and dated after June 1st of 2021. So children participating in this program have to provide a medical, and it'll be on the Fresh Air Fund's medical form, which we'll provide for you. Summer camps. We are reinstating our overnight summer camps. It's an in-person sleepaway program. The children that attended camp in the past may participate this summer in our summer camp program. Siblings of children that have attended camp in the past may also participate. The age of eligibility for camps will be 8 to 15 years old. And I'll give you more details on the next slide about the actual ages per camp. Siblings of children that attended the camp in the past may also participate. Children that have attended any Fresh Air Fund summer program in the past may participate in summer camp. Children must meet income eligibility requirements. We've relaxed the requirements for the past 2 years, but we do have a formulary based on the USDA Food and Drug Poverty Guideline that will dictate if a person is eligible for our programs. The child must have a medical form signed, stamped, and dated after June 1st, 2021. The locations where the camps will be operating this summer will be at our Sharp Reservation, which is where most of our camps are anyway. It's about 1 hour and 45 minutes from Manhattan. We charter a bus, take the children up to camp. We will not be operating all of our 5 camps there. As you can see, there are only 3 that will be in operation, but it will accommodate children such as Camp ABC for girls ages 8 to 15 years old, Hidden Valley for boys ages 8 to 15, Camp Mariah, co-ed. Again, the children, of course, will sleep in separate dormitories. but Camp Moriah will be a co-ed camp for children ages 11 to 15. Harriman State Park is our newest camp, and it's for Bronx residents only, and it's called Camp Junior. It's a co-ed camp for children ages 8 to 15. There will be 2 sessions this summer. Typically, we run 4 sessions per summer. This summer, we only have 2 sessions. Session 1 starting on June 29th, going until August 13th. Session 2 will be July 20th through August 3rd. Our Summer Teen Academy is a very popular program. It's a hybrid program. What that means is that there will be virtual training as well as some in-person engagements. It's a specialized program that offers opportunities for teens ages 13 to 17 years old to earn credentials, have internships, and gain critical work experience. The workshops will include developing leadership skills, career exploration, college readiness, and more. The big point about Summer Teen Academy is that it's a credentialing program and it's a stipend program.
Are you on a call?
I mentioned all of these programs in terms of highlighting and featuring. Teen Academy is going to be very popular if you have a 13 to 17-year-old because the children will be paid. They'll receive stipends. I urge you to sign up as soon as you can on Monday, February 28th, because these positions will go, these slots will fill very quickly. They're very popular. So I'm giving you that warning. Additional information regarding the Summer Teen Academy: the Job Readiness Training Program is for children ages 13 to 17. The internship program is for older children 16 to 17. And the credentialing programs are the 3. They can participate in architecture and urban design, which was done through Penn Praxis, affiliated with University of Pennsylvania. It's a virtual program with some in-person. They have a final program that takes place on Governor's Island. It was featured in the video. There's a video game design for children ages 13 to 17, or an entrepreneurship program for children ages 13 to 17. In addition to our Summer Teen Academy, there are 2 enrichment programs that are not stipends, but they may participate in these wonderful programs, which is Circle of Brotherhood for children ages 13 to 17 and Girls Empowerment Series. These 2 enrichment programs are really about self-esteem building, self-exploration as a young adult for both girls and boys. The Circle of Brotherhood is for young boys to learn about leadership, what it is to become a man, and for young girls, the Empowerment Series also talks about philanthropy, self-discovery, and career ideas. Again, topics relative to girls' issues and relative to boys' issues, respectively, for the 2 enrichment programs. The Summer Teen Academy, just continuing, will provide training in job readiness, internship, and credentialing programs, and they offer stipends. This is a summary. The credentialing programs will meet virtually, primarily with some in-person opportunities. The teens must submit a Department of Education or a Department of Health medical form signed, stamped, and dated after June 1st of 2021. As you might have noticed at this point, that the window for the medicals is typically a year. We want to look at the child's most recent medical history, and it's any medical after June 1st of 2021. I'm going to talk about Fresh Air Fund Summer Spaces. This is an in-person program. This is the newest program to the Fresh Air Fund, and it was created out of COVID. Prior to COVID, the Fresh Air Fund had never operated a day camp. This is a day camp where it's in person. It's open to children ages 5 to 12. You may have seen these children. You may have seen children playing in the New York City streets over the past 2 years. Those programs are called Fresh Air Fund Summer Spaces. The children participate in arts and crafts projects, STEM activities, dance parties, hula hoop contests. They play soccer, but most importantly, they're outdoors with their peers, playing safely. And this year, we will only have 4 locations. It will be 1 per borough, with the exception of Staten Island. Last year, we had about 12 locations. So again, this may or may not be convenient for you and your child, and we apologize in advance for that. But we will only have 4 locations this summer for 2022. Fresh Air Fund Wellness, this is another program. I sound the alert. This program is very, very popular. It was created in COVID. For the very first time, parents had an opportunity to go and visit the camps where their children have gone for previous summers. The Family Wellness Program was born out of the understanding that a family is already self-quarantined. We had the camps, we had the land, and we thought, why not offer it to families? And that we did 2 years ago. It was very well received. We're going to continue that program again this summer, and I urge you to sign up as soon as possible. The Fresh Air Fund Family Wellness is a program in person family respite. The family gets to go up to camp. They get to participate in whichever activities they'd like to, but there's minimal contact with the Fresh Air Fund staff, who will primarily lead activities if the family wants to participate, and help them with meals at mealtime. But for the most part, the family is self-contained. They will not interact with other families. So that's how we manage to keep the Family Wellness Program safe. It's for new and returning families. So if a family has already experienced family wellness, they certainly can apply again this year. And a new family who's never done family wellness may also apply this year. One note of caution though, that in order to participate in the Family Wellness Program, you must have a child that is Fresh Air Fund age appropriate. Obviously, we're not creating summer vacations for adults. It's really intended for the children and their families. The overnight trips will be at our Sharp Reservation. As I mentioned, it's an hour and 45 minutes from Manhattan. There'll be 3 days and 2 nights. You'll sleep in log cabins, participate in some of the activities available, such as hiking, canoeing, fishing, or just sitting in the open air, watching sunset or roasting marshmallows in a fire pit with your family, making memories that last a lifetime, not just for the child, but also for the whole family. The sessions will start from August 10th to August 19th. It doesn't mean you'll go for 9 days, as you would think by 8/10 to 8/19 represents 9 days. You will go for 3 days and 2 nights within that date range. How do I apply? Very simply, you're going to go to our website, which is www.freshair.org. I put it in the chat. I will put it in the chat when I'm done with the presentation. And the applications are only available online. It opens on Monday, February 28th. It opens on Monday, February 28th. I am repetitive and I'm saying this because I'm sure Lameka, Cindy, myself, we will hear, I tried to get in, and so you'll be speaking to us in June. I tried to get into the Fresh Air Fund, but all the slots were filled. Well, I'm telling you in advance, you have a heads up, you have an early in. I'm telling you how to get in. How to apply, actually, specifically, you'll go to our website at www.freshair.org. You will see our New York City Family Community Portal, or you'll click on Start Application or Get Application, Sign Up Your Child. You'll go to the New York City Family Community Portal. How you will do it is you'll create an account on the New York City Family Portal using your email address as a login name and create a password, one that you can remember easily. If you forget your password, we can reset it for you, but you use your email as a login because that same email is what we're going to use to correspond with you, to communicate with you. You're going to create a household. What that means is you're going to first start where it says start application. It'll say, tell us about your household. You'll put your name, the children's name, their ages, the schools they go to, the grades they're in, their birth dates, etc. Once you've created the household, you then will fill out, you'll start an application for each child in that household. You will then select a program for each child, or the system will show you which programs your child is eligible for based on their age and gender and their age and gender and borough. It'll select programs for you, and then you can choose if those are the ones you're interested in. Once you've done all of the above, create a household, start a child's application, select the program for that child, then you're going to submit the application. Once you've submitted the application, and you may have additional paperwork you'll have to later provide, such as a medical, because obviously on Monday, many of you will not have medicals for your kids at that time. We understand that, but you still want to start the application and then get the medical to us. You can upload it by going back to the New York City Family Portal, logging in with your email address, putting in your password, and it'll take you right to your child's application. And then you can upload that medical form or whatever documents is needed, such as proof of vaccination. All children must be vaccinated to participate in the Fresh Air Fund programs this summer. That is our requirement. For returning families, it's a similar process. You're going to log in and update the information on the New York City Family Portal, create the child's application, select programs for that child, submit the application. It's pretty straightforward. And also remember, the Fresh Air Fund, we are on hand. We will be on hand Monday and onward, or we are today even, but we'll always be available to answer questions for you and to help you get your application processed. Once you've submitted the application, you might allow a week or two because it takes us time to process the application. That means we have to read the application to ensure that all of the necessary information is provided, and if not, to reach out to you and encourage you to get it to us so that we can complete your child's application. So submitting an application does not mean that the application guarantees you a slot. We have to review the application. There's a process to it. Okay, important information. There will be a limited number of spots available this summer. I mentioned that to say we are restoring and rebuilding our programs, but we're doing it cautiously. As I had mentioned earlier, typically in a summer, we operate 4 sessions. This summer, we will operate only 2 sessions. I also mentioned that the Friendly Towns experience is only for kids who are returning, and those children that are returning must be at least 12 years or older. The program starts at age 7 for kids. So that means that we have a tremendously reduced number of kids going out to Friendly Towns. And we also are restricting it to a 3-hour radius from New York. So that also reduces the number of children out in that particular program. The application will be open for all to apply on February 28th. That's Monday, this coming Monday. The children must be age eligible by June 1st of 2022. So for whatever program you're interested in, your child has to be that age by June 1st. All families will receive communication via email. Don't wait for the Fresh Air Fund staff. Reach out to us to find out the status of your child's application. There are certainly more parents than there are staff members at the Fresh Air Fund. So we urge you to stay on top of your child's application and reach out to us and ask us as often as you need to. What's the status with my application? I sent it in 3 weeks ago. What's happening? And we will try and provide that information to you. Once the application is deemed complete and registered by the Fresh Air Fund staff, the families will self-select into sessions through the family portal. Additional information, we highly recommend that you submit the application before April 30th of 2022. But of course, all of you are smart and you're going to do this starting on Monday and onward. You're going to get it in far earlier than April. Submitting an application does not guarantee placement. One experience per child in order to ensure that we have as many children have at least one summer experience. That means that your child can only participate in one event or one experience this summer. So the child can't go to Friendly Town. And there are exceptions to that, actually. The child may go to summer camp if they're eligible, if they're returning camp or they have a sibling that has gone to camp before, and the family may do family wellness. So the only exception is that family wellness allows you, the child, to have a second experience, but otherwise the child cannot go to Friendly Towns and go to camp. Our programs accommodate children with special needs and circumstances, but they are not specifically designed for all special needs. What that means is that the Fresh Air Fund camp programs have allotments. We have allotted slots for children to go to camp and within Friendly Town, but we are not a special needs specific camp or designated, but we do accommodate children with special needs. So parents who have questions or concerns for their child that may have special needs, you can feel free to give us a call to speak with our social workers on staff, and they can answer any specific questions that you might have. We want to accommodate as many children as possible at all times, so don't feel that we wish to discourage you. We encourage you to apply, and we'll let you know if we're able to provide the appropriate service for your child to have a successful outcome. You can reach us at 1-800-367-0003. Or you can call, or you can email us at apply@freshair.org. Now I can take questions. And I thank you for your time this afternoon. I look forward to your children participating with the Fresh Air Fund. And I hope we have some people in the audience whose children are returning so that you can serve as a witness or to give testimony to how wonderful the program, the Fresh Air Fund experience, can be for someone's child.
Thank you, Anthony. Does anyone have any questions for Anthony? Okay, so feel free. Anthony has and will put his information in the chat. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for this time. I look forward to your children joining the Fresh Air Fun experience. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share screen again to introduce our next presenter. We're going to have a mental health segment right now, and our presenter is Dr. T. Thaddeus Brown. Dr. Brown, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are we still getting an echo?
No, it's done now. It's
okay,
gone.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the East Flatbush Community Partnership for this amazing meeting today. So much fantastic information has been shared by the presenters as well as the participants. I hope that my presentation, will add value to this experience today. And so I'm going to see if I can bring up my screen. And so let me start with this here. My presentation is on mental health. And I just wanted to just state from the very beginning that mental health shows up, manifests itself in a variety of ways across a diverse population. The way that mental health conditions may materialize in Caucasian populations and or Asian populations and or Black or Indigenous people of color populations varies. And, I think we can all agree that, we've all, irregardless of, our heredity, that humanity, as a whole, has been inundated throughout history with just multiple layers of compounded and complex trauma. And so much of it may be lying below the surface that, it often isn't recognized and or addressed for various reasons. Not to mention the fact that, we are living in a system for many of us where mental health support and services, has not been specifically designed to address some of the intricate pathways and circumstances. So I just wanted to put that out there before we go any further. So mental health has never mattered more. According to the city of New York, nearly 1.6 million New Yorkers experience mental illness every year. Prior to the COVID pandemic, 9% of New Yorkers experienced symptoms of depression each year. And at the height of the pandemic, 36% reported symptoms of depression. According to a report released in August of 2020 by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, U.S. adults were more likely in June 2020 than a year prior to report adverse mental health conditions, substance use, and suicidal ideations. About 41% of adults completing that online survey reported an adverse mental or behavioral health condition, including 31% who reported anxiety or depressive disorder symptoms, another 25+% who reported trauma and stressor-related disorders, symptoms related to COVID-19, and 13% reported substance use to cope with stress or emotions related to COVID-19. And finally, 11% reported seriously considering suicide in the past 30 days. Now, I think we can also consider the fact that, the past 2.5 years of COVID conditions that we've all been oppressed under is just another one of those compounded complex layers of trauma that we have, that we are dealing with. And many of the preceding trauma-related mental health issues were already, possibly pre-existing. So again, it's just a real multi-layered sandwich of complex trauma and mental health stressors. So I'm going to share this piece here since I don't have a whole lot of time. This particular piece here that I'd like to present today is on managing stress, principles and strategies for health and well-being. It's very important that we do our best to take care of ourselves so that we can function at optimal capacity, both in our individual lives as well as in the workplace. Since many of us, in addition to having our own families, we are also charged with the responsibility and accountability of caring for others. So the most important piece, of course, is that we do our very, very best to take care of ourselves and reducing as much stress as possible, which potentially can lead to either initiation or onset of mental health issues and or exacerbate any pre-existing mental health conditions any of us may already be experiencing in our lives. So this is on progressive meditation relaxation, and basically relaxation is the direct negative of nervous excitement. It is the absence of nerve muscle impulse. This is quoted by Dr. Edmund Jacobson. And we can sort of move past some of the historical stuff here. A little bit more about progressive muscular relaxation, or PMR, is the body's muscles respond to thoughts or perceived threats with tension or contraction. And this muscular tension is believed to be the most common symptom of stress. And it can potentially lead to stiffness, pain, discomfort, distorted and disaligned posture, and joint stability. The building blocks involved in muscular contraction are a motor in unit, a motor nerve fiber, which is the neuron, a skeletal motor fiber, and a stimulus from the nerve fiber to the muscle fiber called an action potential. Chemicals released from these neurons are neurotropic substances, and neurotransmitters secrete the epinephrine and norepinephrine and ACH to regulate and control the muscle contraction. So we won't go into a pharmacology or neurological lesson today. And then it just talks more about the relieving the muscle tension. And this work, of course, is based on Dr. Edmond Johnson. It's a real simple technique, and some of the benefits is decreasing muscle tension as body relaxes, so does the mind. People who use progressive meditation, relaxation, have typically been evidenced to have less or reduced or decreased health issues. So the steps to participate in PMR, as we'll ask everyone on this in this meeting to try to find a comfortable position at this time and to begin to monitor your breathing. Inhale, monitor your inhales and exhales, and try to relax as much as possible from your head to your toe. And focus your concentration on each muscle group as we get ready to watch a very short video.
This muscle relaxation exercise is a wonderful technique that will help relax your body from head to toe through mental focus and intention. Similar to progressive muscle relaxation, this technique will help create an overall feeling of relaxation within the body, and it will help quiet the mind. So let's begin. Find a place where you can relax. Turn off all distractions, dim the lights, and make sure you're warm. Settling into a position, either sitting or lying down, and when you're ready, close your eyes. Now through your nose, take a nice, slow, deep breath. Hold it for a moment and release the breath. Once again, take a slow, deep breath in, hold it, and exhale. Noticing a feeling of relaxation beginning to develop each time you breathe out. Continue to breathe slowly and gently as you bring your awareness now to the top of your head. Imagine a feeling of warmth and relaxation beginning to soften this area. And now imagine this warmth and relaxation beginning to descend downward. And now scanning your awareness to the feelings in your forehead, noticing if there's any tension that may be residing here. Smoothing out your forehead, feeling the tension drain away, melting and softening. Now noticing the space between your eyebrows, checking in. See if there's any tension here, allowing this area to soften, smoothing out your brow. Now letting your awareness drift down to the feelings in your eyes, noticing how your eyes are feeling, becoming aware of any fatigue or contraction around your eyes, and letting go of this tension. Relaxing the muscles around your eyes, allowing your eyes to rest comfortably in their sockets. Now noticing your jaw, becoming aware of the feelings in your jaw, noticing if there's any clenching in the jaw, creating a space by separating your teeth slightly, allowing your tongue to rest gently against your palate. And now, allowing your entire face to relax, letting all the tension drain away, and continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Now focus your attention on the feelings of your neck, letting go of any tension that you may be feeling in your neck, softening and releasing your neck. And now, feeling completely relaxed in the muscles of your head, your face, and your neck. Now allow your focus to drift down to the muscles of your shoulders, noticing any tension that may be stored in your shoulders. Relaxing your shoulders, giving your shoulders permission to soften, letting them melt into the surface that you're resting on. Drift your attention downward to your arms, noticing your upper arms, your forearms, and now letting go of all the tension in the muscles of your arms. Relaxing your arms, letting them become heavy and limp. Allow your tension to move down to the muscles of your hands and your fingers. Now relax your hands. Relax your fingers and feel all the tension flowing down your hands and out of the tips of your fingers. Feeling relaxed throughout your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Allowing any remaining tension to flow down, out of your shoulders, out of your arms, out of your hands, and out of your fingers. Now scanning your awareness down into the feelings of your chest, relaxing the muscles of your chest, relaxing the breastbone, the ribs, and the diaphragm. Continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Now directing your attention to your abdomen, noticing any constriction in this area. Now softening your belly, allowing your belly to relax. Now scanning your back, see if there's any tension in the back, and letting go of the tension. Relaxing your upper back, your middle back, and your lower back. Let all the tension flow away, allowing your back to sink deeper and deeper into the surface you are resting on. Feel completely relaxed as you possibly can in your chest, your stomach, and your back, and enjoy this feeling of relaxation as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Now scanning your awareness on your hips and your seat, letting go of any tension that you may be holding in your hips and seat. Relaxing your hips, relaxing your seat. Allowing your focus to slip downward to your legs, noticing your thighs and your calves, and letting them go. Relaxing your thighs, relaxing your calves, letting them become heavy and limp. And letting your focus drift downward to concentrate on your feet and your toes. Relax your feet, relax your toes, allowing the tension to flow out of your feet and out of the ends of your toes. Becoming aware of any tension that may still be remaining in your hips, your legs, your feet, and your toes. And feel it drain out of your hips, out of your legs, out of your feet, and out of your toes. Letting every muscle in your body feel warm, heavy, and relaxed while you continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Letting this feeling of relaxation that has developed in the various parts of your body sweep over your entire being, so that you may experience an overall feeling of deep relaxation. Take a few moments now to enjoy this wonderful feeling. Feeling calm, peaceful, and at ease.
Okay. So we're back. And I just wanted to, thank you all. And let's give ourselves and each other applause for allowing ourselves a few moments to care for ourselves and for giving ourselves permission to do that. So that brings us to the end of the, this little piece.
Don't allow your past to
Turn it back over to our host.
your son. Aaron, he's selling drugs, just like his father used to.
All we do is sell a little weed.
Dr. Brown, is that your sound going?
I certainly hope it's not.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I actually was so relaxed. I feel like I wanted to take a nap. So thank you. All right, everyone. I hope that you all enjoyed your time with us today. We have 4 minutes left before the top of the hour. So I just wanted to open up the floor to hear if anyone had any feedback you wanted to share about today's meeting, or if you wanted to share anything about your programs with the 4 minutes we have left. Feel free, unmute yourself and share.
I wanted to thank you for this opportunity. It was a wonderful program this afternoon. I really enjoyed it. And I, thanks to Cindy, she reminded me at the Fresh Air Fund, there are many employment opportunities. I put the link in the chat where you'll go to our website and the job opportunities are there. There are many employment opportunities for summer camp.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to share anything?
Hi, everyone. This is Charlene Gordon from the New York City Department of Health. And I just wanted to share, I put some information in the chat for you to contact me. And also, too, we have some webinars coming up in March on the different environmental home health hazards in the home. And also, too, we'll be celebrating National Poison Prevention Week. And our pregnancy series continues. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. Is there anyone else that would like to share?
Yes, I would like to share. So hello, everyone. My name is Adar Johnson. I'm the program manager for Brooklyn Networks. We are a 6-week free unpaid training course, just training people in the skills needed to work in the cabling industry. You'll be able to get a Big C certification as well as OSHA 30 and SST training for free. We are recruiting for a new class that is coming up on April 6th. So if you have anyone that is interested, I'm going to put my contact info in the group chat. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. We have time for one more person if anyone else would like to share.
Hi, my name is Maylene. Sorry, Lamaka.
That's okay, Maylene, go ahead.
Just wanted to share that the New York Council on Problem Gambling, we're having a virtual conference March 9th and 10th. As it's virtual, I can provide a scholarship code that will allow anybody to join the conference for free. I'll also send an email out that could give a little bit of background information on it. We have a lot of good sessions and speakers that will be present this year for the conference. So I'm hoping that we can get more people to participate. Thanks again for always providing a great meeting. I enjoyed today's meeting thoroughly, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Maylene.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to remind everyone, we are on social media. Please follow us at East Flatbush Partnership if you are not already. Our next meeting is going to be held on March 24th, 3 o'clock, same time. And the zip codes that we service are 11203, 11210, 11212, and 11226. Thank you all for today. We appreciate you all.